You have been told your entire life that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Doctors recommend it. Nutritionists swear by it. Your mother probably guilt-tripped you about it every single morning. But here's what nobody told you. A growing body of research suggests that for millions of people, eating breakfast may actually be quietly damaging the very organ they are trying to protect, their brain. And the people who skip it entirely? In certain key cognitive measurements, they are pulling ahead. Today, we are going underneath the skull to see exactly what happens to your brain hour by hour when you stop eating breakfast. What improves? What gets worse? And the one specific type of person who should absolutely never skip it.
First, let's understand what your brain is actually running on when you wake up. After 7 to 9 hours of sleep, your body has been fasting. Your last meal was 10, maybe 12 hours ago. Your blood sugar has dropped to its lowest point of the entire day. Your insulin levels are at their floor. Most people feel this and panic. They reach for cereal, toast, or juice. They flood their system with glucose, and their blood sugar spikes hard and fast, then crashes an hour later, leaving them foggy, irritable, and reaching for coffee before 10 a.m. But what if that crash is not inevitable? What if it is the breakfast itself causing the problem? Here is what actually happens inside your brain during the first 3 hours after you wake up without eating. Hour 1. Your brain is running almost entirely on ketones, small energy molecules your liver produces from stored fat when glucose runs low. Ketones are not a backup fuel. Research from Oxford University shows they are actually a preferred fuel for certain brain functions, burning cleaner and more efficiently than glucose with less oxidative stress on your neurons. During this window, many people report unusual mental clarity. This is not a coincidence. It is your brain running on premium fuel. Hour 2. Your body begins releasing norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter directly linked to focus, alertness, and motivation. This is the same chemical released during mild physical stress. A 2008 study published in Neuroscience found that short-term fasting significantly elevates norepinephrine levels, sharpening attention and reaction time. Your brain, in survival mode, is becoming more alert, not less. Hour 3. This is where it gets interesting. Your brain begins producing higher levels of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Scientists call it miracle grow for the brain. BDNF stimulates the growth of new neurons, strengthens existing neural connections, and is directly linked to memory formation and learning speed. A study from the National Institute on Aging found that intermittent fasting, which skipping breakfast essentially is, significantly increases BDNF production. Higher BDNF is associated with lower risk of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and depression. So in those first 3 hours without breakfast, your brain is sharper, more focused, and actively building new neural pathways. Now, before you throw your cereal in the trash, we need to talk about who this does not work for. Because skipping breakfast is not universally beneficial. For certain people, it is genuinely harmful. Children and teenagers. Their brains are in active development. BDNF is already operating at high levels. Skipping breakfast in this stage of life consistently shows negative effects on memory, attention span, and academic performance. The research here is clear and consistent. People with blood sugar disorders. If you have type 1 diabetes, reactive hypoglycemia, or certain metabolic conditions, fasting extends can trigger dangerous drops in blood glucose that the brain cannot compensate for. This is not a lifestyle choice. It is a medical variable that requires professional guidance. People under extreme chronic stress. If your cortisol is already chronically elevated, adding a fasting period in the morning can push stress hormones even higher. For these individuals, a light protein-based breakfast may actually stabilize the brain better than fasting. And there is one more honest variable: genetics. Some people have variants in genes that regulate glucose sensitivity that make them genuinely better performers with a morning meal. Your biology is not identical to someone else's. Now here is what most videos on this topic completely ignore: the long-term picture. People who consistently skip breakfast and replace it with nothing, not a protein shake, not black coffee, just nothing and stress, often experience a different outcome than those who do it intentionally. The difference is cortisol management. If you wake up, immediately check your phone, rush into a stressful morning, and skip breakfast out of chaos rather than intention, your cortisol spikes and stays elevated. This chronically elevated stress hormone actively breaks down brain tissue over time. It shrinks the hippocampus, the region responsible for memory and emotional regulation. But if you skip breakfast deliberately, stay hydrated, move your body even gently, and keep your morning calm, you get the cognitive benefits without the cortisol cost. The breakfast itself is not the variable. Your entire morning environment is. So what does the science actually recommend? If you are a healthy adult with no metabolic conditions, a structured morning fast of 12 to 16 hours, meaning you finish dinner by 8 p.m. and eat your first meal around noon, can measurably improve focus, memory consolidation, and neurological resilience. During the fasting window, stick to water, black coffee, or plain green tea. All three keep insulin suppressed and allow your brain to stay in its fat-burning, BDNF-producing state. When you do break your fast, start with protein and healthy fat before any carbohydrates. Eggs, avocado, Greek yogurt. This stabilizes blood sugar on the way back up and prevents the glucose crash that makes most people feel sluggish by mid-morning. And give yourself at least 2 weeks before you judge the results. The brain adapts slowly. The first 3 to 5 days of skipping breakfast often feel rough. That is your brain transitioning its fuel systems. Push through that window, and most people report a clarity they did not know they were missing. Your brain is not asking for more food in the morning. In many cases, it is asking for more time. Time to run on cleaner fuel. Time to produce the proteins that build new connections. Time to do the biological maintenance that only happens when insulin is out of the way. So tomorrow morning, before you automatically reach for whatever is in your kitchen, ask yourself, is this meal actually serving my brain, or am I just following a habit I inherited from a cereal commercial in 1987? I want to know where you stand. Are you a breakfast person, or have you already discovered the benefits of pushing your first meal later in the day? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one. And if this breakdown changed the way you think about your morning routine, leave a like on the video. It genuinely helps more people find this information.